In follow-up to that, I worked with one client who was a financial institute that had a lot of SEC investigations. It's not uncommon. The SEC would say, please give us all the emails for this date range for these 2 traders who are looking at what they were doing. And they had a pretty good system. They would call IT, and IT would go to their email archive system and pull out the emails, put them on a CD, give it to counsel. Counsel would give it to outside counsel. It was really working very well. One day, counsel calls IT and says, we got 2 more traders. We have this date range. Give me all the emails. And IT says, you know, you keep calling me for this. And every time you do, you say, give me the emails. And we give you the emails out of archive number 1, but you never mention archive number 2. That's the type of communication that once in a while it's nice to sit down and really talk about what the actual steps are and what the actual resources were. That turned out to be a pretty big problem for them.
Okay, now in the interest of time, I'm going to expedite things here and get down to the end of the table. Molly, what are some of the key things that clients may be looking for in their outside counsel with respect to document and case management?
See that you say that for the last 5 minutes of the seminar. I'm not sure how to help you there. Oh my gosh. It is really hard to be a client today. It is really hard. And I was thinking about this last night. Just so you guys know, I have my clearest moments of thought when I'm grooming myself, so like if I'm brushing my teeth or something. And I was brushing my teeth last night. I was thinking about this exact topic. And does everybody realize that everybody is a client in some capacity? Even our vendors are a client because they have hardware or whatever their providers are. But there's this lack of empathy for clients when we get into litigation, and I don't understand how that still is today. We need to be able to all sit at the table and let us walk you through what's out there. We need to discuss the business. We need to know what witnesses are out there, what the data is, where are the pockets of information, and we're going to get you through that. But there's this crash and kick in the back door and just attack kind of approach that outside counsel oftentimes wants to take at the clients. And I don't understand. If you hire 2 men in a truck to move your house for you, you would not expect the 2 guys to show up and take all your linens out and throw them in a truck and walk out the door and move them to the house. You would expect to pack it up and tell them that the green towels are going to go in the bathroom and the red towels are going to go in the guest bathroom. And it's the same exact principle. And I don't understand how it is. There's this ongoing thought that we're just going to come in, grab your stuff, and we'll let you know what's responsive and how your litigation goes. It just isn't going to be like that anymore. That's the communication.
Molly, to what extent are you guys managing review of documents internally? You know, because that's another trend that people are talking about.
We're going to do your first level review at Nationwide. So we're going to try to help you make a first cut of information. And one of the main pieces of communication, it's funny, my friends from Bricker are back there, and we were just talking about an instance where I had an impasse with one of their folks because I wanted him to teach me what the litigation was about. I wanted the nitty-gritty details so that I could go and roll out a review. I needed help understanding the subject matter or the nature of the litigation. And he said, just give it to us and we'll take care of it. And I said, we're not going to give you all that data at $350 to $500 an hour to turn pages. We're just not going to do that. And I believe that we're not the only client here that is going to operate that way anymore. So the communication is that we're going to all have to work together and have an understanding of what the nature of the inquiry is, what the strategy will be for responding, and how we're going to deliver information to you for later production.
That's great. I think, you know, some of this, and again, this probably I fall back a lot of times on my psych background, and so much of this I think is fear-driven in some ways. You know, clients, outside counsel are not motivated to eliminate billable hours. So to a certain extent, I think it's hard for people to give up that sort of mentality that, you know, we can do all this work, and you know, I guess I should only speak for my firm, but you know, we have a lot of associates who bill a lot of hours doing document review and other things like that. And so I think until people start feeling comfortable with the fact that if they do things in a more efficient way, they can still well, first of all, I think maybe handle more projects or handle different type of projects or get more work from their clients because they're going to be engaging the clients more. I think until they feel comfortable with that, there's still this sort of mentality that, boy, we got to keep all this work that we can keep. And I think that, to a certain extent, whenever people are, and Kathy, you can probably comment on this more than I can, but I think, whenever people, have gone and they have advanced education and they've specialized in learning something, there is a tendency to feel some ownership over that and feel like, I know the best decisions to make in this case. And it's hard to sort of give up that control, and I think that's some of what goes on here.
Just to take that one step, take it back one step, it's not just at the business unit level anymore. It's not just the Office of Agency doesn't want to pay all of that money. It's not just the smaller cases that we talked about. Our general counsel is there. I've heard AEP's general counsel, we're there. The days of just chucking large volumes out the door, it's over. And now they've sat in the same seminars that we've all sat at, and they know what the risks are. They know where the meat is of their information, and they know that that the roles are going to change significantly.
Okay, I'm going to try one more question here, and then we'll throw it out to the audience. Don, what are some of the challenges as more cases are managed online via third-party review platforms? And what kind of challenges do those pose for law firms, for clients?
Well, again, only speaking for our firm, I think more and more people are seeing that trend emerge. We at Baker Hostetler in-house uses summation, which probably a lot of people in here are familiar with. And the fact of the matter is, depending on which version of that product you're using, you can only put so much data in that product. When I started at Baker Hostetler about 4 years ago, even then, we were still, a lot of our cases that we were managing, I would say probably the majority of the data in those cases were scanned TIFF images. And a minority of the data that was in those cases was electronic discovery. Today, it's completely reversed. And not only do we have more electronic discovery, which is sometimes less capably handled by products like summation, but the volumes have just increased to the extent that it's becoming a storage nightmare, really, for our firm, and I would imagine a lot of your firms as well. You can always continue to go out and buy more server space, but that's a line item, budget item for the IT department. If an attorney gets a case where they have 125 gigabytes of data, you may or may not. In our Cincinnati office, for example, which is one of our smaller satellites, we couldn't put 125 gigabytes on the server this week if we needed to. It's just not going to happen. So I think more and more we're outsourcing or hosting a lot of that data, and there's a number of challenges with doing that. One of the challenges that we face is that clients, because I think they are being more directive, often will dictate to us who to use for that process because they may have existing relationships with certain vendors or certain tools. Sometimes, however, the trick that we get into is that the product that they're using or the vendor they're using is not the best one for the particular case they're looking at. So, for example, there are solutions out there that are great solutions if you have 2 terabytes of data that's going to be hosted for 3 to 5 years. They seem expensive up front, but it's over time you're going to recover your cost. That same kind of application would not be what you want to use for a case that's going to be over in 12 to 15 months and is maybe going to have 300,000 documents. So, sometimes that's a challenge for us, is figuring out exactly which tool is the best one.